Hello friends, this video on NEET, moving charges and magnetism is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Question number 6. A long straight wire of radius A carries a steady current I. Okay. The current is uniformly distributed over its cross section. The ratio of the magnetic fields B and B dash at radial distances A by 2 and 2A respectively from the axis of the wire is. Now let's try to draw a diagram. Let's say that this is the wire, okay, and this is the axis of the wire. Now we are trying to find out the value of magnetic field at a point which is at a distance a by 2 and another point which is at a distance 2a, where a is this radius. Correct? So let us say that this point is P and let us say this point is P dash. So we are basically trying to calculate the magnetic fields for points P and P dash. Okay, so here we will make use of the Ampere's circuital law. So what is Ampere's circuital law? It states that integral of B dot dl is equal to mu naught in times the total current enclosed by the Amperian loop, right? So let us first consider point P. So for point P, if we consider the Amperian loop, it would be somewhat like this, correct? So for if you want to find out the magnetic field here, it will be B into what is dl. dl is nothing but this circumference, which is equal to 2 pi r. This is equal to mu naught into I enclosed. So total current enclosed by this loop will be equal to current density J into area. Area is area of a circle, that is pi r square, because this distance is, let's say, r. Correct? So in this question it is given that the small r is equal to a by 2. So we are actually assuming that point P is at a distance r from the axis. Correct? And also we are assuming that P dash is at a distance r dash. So r dash is, according to the question, 2a. Correct? So here mu naught J. What is J? J is current density, that is current per unit area. So what is the area? Now, if we are trying to find out the current density of this uniform long straight wire, so it will be current per unit area, that is area will be pi a square, because now we are talking about the area of this wire. So this will be equal to into pi r square. So pi and pi will get cancelled. So from this we can say that B is equal to mu naught I r square divided by a square into 2 pi r. So this r and this r will get cancelled. So this comes out to be mu naught I r divided by 2 pi a square. Correct? So that's the value of B. But according to question, what is r? R is equal to a upon 2. So if we put that value, B is equal to mu naught I into a by 2 divided by 2 pi a square. So this a and this a will get cancelled. So this is equal to mu naught I divided by 4 pi a. So this is the value of B. Now let us similarly try to find out the value of B dash. So now we will focus on point P dash. So there also we will apply this Ampere's circuital law. So therefore it will become B dash into 2 pi. In this case we are talking about R dash, right? But outside this straight wire there is no current flowing, right? So current is flowing within the straight wire. Correct? So in this case, if you want to find out this DL is nothing but B dash into 2 pi r again, because not r dash, because outside this radius r, you basically do not have much. Correct? So in this case, it will be B dash into 2 pi r dash, which is equal to mu naught into I enclosed. So what will be the total current enclosed by this Amperian loop? So outside you do not have current. So the total current enclosed by this loop is basically the total current that is flowing through this current carrying wire, which is I. So in this case, it will be mu naught I. So you can say that B dash is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi R dash. Now, according to question, R dash is equal to 2A. So if we put that value, it becomes B dash is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi into 2A. That is equal to mu naught I divided by 4 pi A. So we found out both B and B dash. Therefore, let's try to find out the ratio, that is B by B dash is equal to mu naught I divided by 4 pi A divided by mu naught I divided by 4 pi A. So this is basically equal to 1. So the ratio would be 1. So option B is the correct one. Question number 7. A proton beam enters a magnetic field of 10 to the power minus 4 Weber per meter square. Normally, if the specific charge of the proton is 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg and its velocity is 10 to the power 9 meter per second, then the radius of the circle described will be. Okay, so here we are talking about a charged particle moving in a magnetic field. So whenever a charged particle move in a magnetic field, it tends to follow a circular path, which to be more specific is a helical path. So what is the radius of that path which is followed by the charged particle? So the radius is given by mv divided by qb. Right, so in this question specific charge is given. So what is specific charge? Specific charge is charge by mass ratio, that is known as specific charge. Okay, so we have to calculate the radius of the circle. Okay, so what will be the mass? So mass we do not know, but charge by mass is given. So m by q, let's put it separate, v divided by b. So now magnetic field is given as 10 to the power minus 4. Charge by mass is also given, and what is given? Velocity is also given as 10 to the power 9. So what will be mass by charge? So charge by mass is 10 to the power 11. So mass by charge will be 1 by 10 to the power 11 multiplied by velocity is 10 to the power 9 and magnetic field is 10 to the power minus 4. So this comes out to be 100 meters. So the correct option is A. Question number 8. Two concentric coils, each of radius equal to 2 pi centimeters, are placed at right angles to each other. Okay, so let's say that you have a coil like this, you have another coil like this. Just try to visualize it. So it's like, just imagine two bangles. You place one bangle like this, you place another bangle in such a way that these two bangles are perpendicular to each other. Right, so you can fit in the two bangles this way. Cool. Now, it says that each of them radius equal to 2 pi centimeter are placed at right angles to each other. So we understood this. If 3 ampere and 4 ampere are the currents flowing through the two coils respectively, the magnetic induction at the center of the two coils will be. So now we have to find out the net magnetic induction at the center. So let's say that the magnetic induction due to the first coil is B1. Magnetic induction due to the second coil is B2. Now, if you actually look at the direction of B1 and B2, irrespective of whether the current is flowing in the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction in these two coils, whatever the case may be, you will always see that the direction of B1 and B2, they are perpendicular to each other. Correct? So if you want, you try it out with the right hand rule and you will see that in all scenarios, B1 is perpendicular to B2. Because how do you find out the direction of magnetic field at the center of a circular coil? It is always perpendicular to the plane of the circular coil. So considering that also, B1 and B2 will always be perpendicular to each other. Therefore, the net magnetic field at the center will be equal to root over B1 square plus B2 square. So let us try to find out B1 and B2. So B1 due to first coil will be equal to mu naught I1 divided by 2R. So radius is same for both of them. So mu naught I1, let's say that is 3 ampere for the first coil divided by 2 into radius. Now let's calculate B2, which will be equal to mu naught I2 divided by 2R, which is equal to mu naught into 4 divided by 2R. So therefore B net will be equal to root over b1 square, that is 3 mu naught divided by 2r whole square plus 4 mu naught divided by 2r whole square. So this is equal to root over 9 mu naught square divided by 4r square plus 16 mu naught square divided by 4r square. So this will be equal to mu naught divided by 2r root over 9 plus 16. So this will be equal, 9 plus 16 is 25. So root over 25 will be 5. So this is 5 mu naught divided by 2r. Right? So what is the value of r? Radius is given as 2 pi centimeters. So radius is equal to 2 pi into 10 to the power minus 2 meters. So let's put that value. So B net will be equal to 5 mu naught divided by 2 into 2 pi into 10 to the power minus 2. So this is equal to 5 divided by 4 pi mu naught into 10 to the power 2. So mu naught by 4 pi, this is equal to 10 to the power 7. So this will be 5 into 10 to the power minus 7 into 10 to the power 2. This is equal to 5 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. So this is the net value of magnetic field. So option A is the correct one. Question number 9. A toroid having 200 turns carries a current of 1 ampere. The average radius of the toroid is 10 centimeters. The magnetic field at any point in the open space inside the toroid is. Okay, so now if you talk about the open space inside the toroid, if you take an amperian loop anywhere inside, the net current enclosed by that loop is 0. Therefore, as per Ampere's circuital law, which says B dot dl is equal to mu naught into total current enclosed. So the total current enclosed by any amperian loop anywhere inside the toroid is 0. So therefore, the net magnetic field will also be 0. So correct option is B. Question number 10. Two identical long conducting wires AOB and COD are placed at right angles to each other with one above such that O is their common point for the two. Okay, so let's say that this is AB and this is CD. So this is AB and this one is CD. And let's say that this is the common point O. Okay, the wires carry I1 and I2 currents respectively. So let's say that AB carries current I1 and CD carries current I2. Point P is lying at a distance D from O along a direction perpendicular to the plane containing the wires. So let's say at a distance of R, at a distance of D from point O such that it is perpendicular to both of these wires. Okay, so I think you can visualize that. Let's say that if this is some point P, so this is a dotted line which says that it is kind of perpendicular to these wires. Okay, so the magnetic field at the point P will be, okay, so let's try to calculate the magnetic field at point P due to AOB and COD separately first, and then we will calculate the net magnetic field. So the magnetic field at point P due to AOB, that means due to current I1. So that is denoted by B1, which will be equal to, so for this point P, this is just a point which is at a distance D from a straight current carrying conductor AOB. So in that case, how do we calculate this? Mu naught I divided by 2 pi r, where r denotes the distance of point P from O. So here the distance is D. So this will be mu naught I1 by 2 pi d. In a similar way, we can calculate B2, that is the magnetic field at point P due to COD. Again, COD is a straight current carrying conductor. P is just another point which is at a distance D from COD. So B2 will be equal to mu naught I2 divided by 2 pi d. Right? So what will be the net magnetic field? So if you actually look at this B1 and B2, so see, as I said that P is a point which is perpendicular to AOB and which is also perpendicular to COD. So it is very clear and obvious that B1 and B2 will be perpendicular to each other. right, direction wise. So if you want to calculate B net, it will be root over B1 square plus B2 square. So this will be equal to root over mu naught I1 divided by 2 pi d whole square plus mu naught I2 divided by 2 pi d whole square. So this will be equal to mu naught divided by 2 pi d root over I1 square plus I2 square. So D is the correct option.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.